Welcome back, fellow exiles. Today, we are diving into Path of Exile with what I like to call a cheap budget armor stacker. Now, when I say budget, I mean the kind of budget where your character sees a mage blood and just quietly closes the trade website. This build is loosely following Big Daddy's armor stacker build, except instead of having gear forged by the gods and funded by a small country's economy, we are working with the that'll-do version. But somehow, through questionable decisions, stubbornness, and a complete lack of financial planning, we are sitting at around 2 million armor rating, which sounds amazing. 2 million armor sounds like I should be able to stand still in the middle of a map, make a cup of tea, answer a few emails, and come back to find the monsters politely apologizing for wasting my time. Unfortunately, this is Path of Exile, and Path of Exile does not care about your armor, your dreams, or your emotional well-being. At the start of the video, I'm just showing off the gear and the setup. It's not perfect, it's not min-maxed, and it definitely isn't one of those builds where every item costs more than my actual house. But it does the job, mostly. The plan for today is simple. We take this budget armor stacker into a tier 16 nightmare map, smash everything, beat the boss, collect the loot, and walk away rich. That was the plan. The map had other ideas. Almost immediately, things started getting spicy. And by spicy, I mean the screen turned into a fireworks display designed by someone who hates visibility. There were monsters everywhere, ground effects everywhere, suspicious explosions everywhere, and several moments where my health bar started moving in a way I did not personally approve of. You know those moments in Path of Exile where your character doesn't die, but your soul briefly leaves your body. That happened more than once. Now, with 2 million armor, you'd think I'd feel safe. But in this game, 2 million armor is less like being immortal and more like wearing a very expensive helmet while someone drops a piano on you. It helps, but you are still extremely aware of the piano. There were a few close calls in this map where I had to perform what professionals would call a tactical retreat, which is just a polite way of saying I ran away screaming. Not a brave retreat, not a clever reposition, just pure cowardice with movement speed. Sometimes you have to back off, compose yourself, check your flasks, check your buffs, pretend you knew what was happening, and then walk back in like it was all part of the plan. And honestly, that was basically the theme of this map. Go in confident, almost die, run away, pretend it was strategy, repeat. This nightmare map was properly nasty. Every pack felt like it had been personally trained to humble me. I'd walk in thinking, right, we're tanky, we've got armor, we're fine. Then 5 seconds later, I'm running in circles, questioning the build, the map mods, my reflexes, and every decision that led me to this exact moment. But to be fair, the build actually held up pretty well. As the map went on, the confidence slowly started coming back, which, as every Path of Exile player knows, is usually when the game decides to punish you for having hope. Eventually, we make our way through the chaos and arrive at the boss, the Nightmare of Malagaro. Now, Malagaro already gives off the energy of someone who owns too many knives and probably writes poetry about suffering. So naturally, the Nightmare version is even more unpleasant. The fight kicks off, the arena starts filling with danger, and I'm trying to look calm while internally preparing my obituary. There were definitely a few moments where I thought, yep, this is where the video becomes a death montage. But somehow, we held it together. A little dodging, a little panic, a little standing in things I probably shouldn't have stood in, and a whole lot of pretending I meant to do that. Eventually, Malagaro goes down. Victory, the build survives. The Nightmare is defeated. The cheap budget armor stacker has proven itself. And now comes the most important part of any Path of Exile boss fight. The loot, the grand reward, the treasure for our suffering. Absolute sweet FA.